Hello, Dr. Dyke Drummond here with another of our Burnout Basics lessons. This time I'm going to talk about the difference between stress and burnout. They're both disorders of energy and metabolism, but you being able to tell the difference between them could be a life-saving ability. Stress and burnout are both disorders of energy metabolism. Now, just nod your head if you remember the two words Krebs cycle. Yeah, it's not that. And you can go ahead and forget Krebs cycle forever, by the way. You never needed to learn it. You can let it go to rest right now. What I'm talking about is more like Star Wars and the Force, your life energy. Both of these, stress and burnout, are disorders of life energy, depletion of life energy. And I'm going to tell you what I think is the difference between the two, but what I think is completely irrelevant to you. Because the most important thing is for you to have a way to tell if what you're experiencing is stress or if it's tipped over into burnout. So I'm going to ask you a question, and just take a big deep breath for me. And just check out in your own body, in your own energy. Notice when you have been stressed. How does that feel to you? Where do you notice it in your body? And if you have been burned out before or thought you were burned out before, how does that feel different from being stressed? And here's what we hear really commonly. Stress can sometimes be motivating. Stress is where you have a bunch of things to do and you feel like you're going to get to the end. You have some optimism, right? Stress is something that can actually energize you. But burnout is this place where it seems to tip over into helplessness, hopelessness, giving up, right? I haven't got the energy to go on. So there's this tipping point between stress and burnout. And here's the way I describe it. I use just a couple of lines. So stress is like this. Your energy goes up and down in any given day depending on what's happening both at work and at home. But notice this line is horizontal. The trend line is horizontal. But if somebody tips over into burnout, their energy tends to go into a downward spiral. And it feels like it has no bottom. It's like one of those falling dreams where you never hit the ground. And you may have experienced that. But notice when stress tips to burnout in your body, in your energy field, because that's a sign to take a look in the mirror and maybe change some of the things you're doing at work and at home. So here's what happens when you're experiencing all three symptoms of burnout and your energy goes into a downward spiral. So you're exhausted, cynical, sarcastic. What's the use? Energy in a downward spiral? It is true survival mode. You are putting all your energy to the shields just to make it through your day. It can feel like this. You go to bed at night praying that in the morning you'll feel better. And you wake up in the morning and you don't. And so a very common fantasy for people to have is one where the little voice in their head says, maybe if I'm lucky I'll get hit by a car on the way to work and I won't have to see patients today. And it is a little bit funny, but I just want you to know too, it's a huge red flag. If you're thinking that or somebody says that to you, stop. Take notice. Look in the mirror, take a breath, maybe take a break, because it's typically a sign that you're right on the edge of burnout or even further into it. And then what happens is you're going to go into work and you're going to have a whole line of patients set up for you on your schedule. Outpatient, inpatient, doesn't matter. And what you're going to do is put your head down in survival mode and simply, like a little train, chug through the day, hoping that there's no work-ins, walk-ins, or emergencies that would slow you down. So you can get to the end of the day, drag your sorry butt home, and hopefully feel better the next day. And if anything does come in, an emergency, a work-in, or a walk-in, you're going to respond typically according to your personality. If you're extroverted, you might yell, scream, and throw things. If you're introverted, you're going to go deep Eeyore. Oh well, it's just another terrible day. Where's my tail? And the interesting thing is, who's the last person to notice they're in survival mode? Yeah, that would be you. The people who notice it first are your staff, your family, kids, significant other, right? So you can watch your colleagues go in and out of survival mode if you're on a high stress ward or wing or service. And again, I'm going to teach you how to reach out to your colleagues in distress in a future lesson, but be on the lookout for survival mode. Be on the lookout for those clues. Maybe I'll get hit by a car today, if I'm lucky. Be on the lookout for when your sensation of stress flips into burnout. And that's a sign to take a look in the mirror and maybe think about getting a break, recharging, doing something different from outside the whirlwind, figuring out how to do something different so your energy doesn't take such a hit at work. There you go, stress versus burnout. I'll see you in the next lesson. Until then, you have a great rest of your day.